Am I the a-hole for not giving my parents money for their new grandchild? Hi, 27 female. I'm a married woman and pregnant with 2 girls. When I was younger, my mom and dad always compared me to my sister, their golden child. I never had a birthday party or even got a gift. And if I did, I would have given it to my sister. Pretty much if I wanted a present, I would have to get money for it myself. As soon as I got a job, my parents said I had to start paying rent and getting food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner if I wanted to eat. So I had to work for everything I wanted. At the age of 18, my parents kicked me out and I went to live with my boyfriend to whom I am now married to, and we now have a 5-year-old and twins on the way. So, my parents were never there when my oldest was born or when I got married, but they were there when my sister got married and had her baby. She also still lives with my parents and her husband, and neither of them have jobs to support themselves. One day, my mom and dad invited me, my husband, and our oldest to their house for Thanksgiving. My parents started the conversation off by saying how beautiful their grandchild was and how much prettier my sister was compared to me. My mom said, "Since your pregnancy, you've been starting to look old. Look at your sister. She still looks like she's 14. My husband got visibly uncomfortable with the comment she made. We were just about to leave when my dad asked me if I could give him some money or they would end up homeless. I asked him, "How do you not have any money for the house? You earned a lot when you were a doctor." He said that my sister used it for expensive stuffs for herself and a baby. I replied angrily, "Why should I even give you a cent when you never cared to waste at least one on me?" The whole room went silent, and full of rage, me and my husband left the house and went back home. Most of my family members decided to call me and yelled at me for not helping them, even though they never cared about me. My sister later on called me too, to tell me that I was being a spoiled brat, that I couldn't even help them a little, and that I don't need all the money I have. I just hung up and blocked everyone who was bashing me online. So, am I the a-hole? Extra info. Dad is retired, mom is a teacher, and like I said, sister and brother-in-law don't work. Also, dad is 1 kidney so can't go back to work. Sorry, should have asked if, am I the a-hole for not giving my parents money even though they will end up homeless? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your parents are real a-holes. I'm sorry for you. You need to cut these people out of your life for good. They are not family. Sounds like the sister didn't fall far from the tree. Surprised you even went over there for Thanksgiving. Not the a-hole. I really don't know what was going through my mind then. Hope for having a supportive, loving family always catches us the first time. You've built yourself a beautiful, loving family with your husband and your children. Remember that whenever you need to deal with them. Next time you hear from your parents or sister, let them know you are happy to catch up with them. When they come with their hands open, tell them your time, energy, and money is tied up furthering your children's future. Not the a-hole at all. Family is, though. Your parents indulged your sister and her now spouse, taught her nothing, and relied on you for way too much growing up. I'm sorry to say, but sometimes we need to cut ties with people in our lives that simply don't bring us any good. Your parents and sister are completely clueless to their issues and the situations they have put themselves in. And unless they can acknowledge the past and fix the present, you are just going to constantly be put in these situations which will take a toll on your mental health and well-being. Sometimes it is simply better to cut the ties that bind us from such toxic people. If they're about to lose the house, there are 2 able-bodied persons living with them that can work and pay rent, and then some. Not your problem and not your issues. Best of luck and hope you have beautiful, healthy babies. Next story. Am I the a-hole for giving my stepkids Disney tickets away? 2 months ago, I told my oldest stepdaughter, 18, that I needed her to request this weekend off because we were celebrating our Christmas and the boys' birthdays. I even texted their mother and made arrangements for my youngest stepdaughter, 14, and she acted like she was on board with it. We have this ongoing issue with my stepkids about them only coming over when we were doing something fun. Every time I try to get them and just spend time with them at the house, they make up every excuse in the book why they cannot come. I purposely did not tell them or my kids what the plans were this weekend. But the oldest couldn't get off of work, so I told her, "It's cool, we will do something for her later on. No big deal. I understand how it is working retail during the holidays." Today, I texted their mother to confirm if the youngest was coming over tomorrow, and she said she had a long week and was really emotional and did not want to go to our house without her older sister. Total BS. She doesn't even like her sister like that. and she's been to our house plenty of times without her sister. Just another excuse on why she cannot come. Mind you, it's my hubby's court-ordered weekend with her anyways. We don't make her come over, so we just get her whenever she wants to come over. So, I texted their mom back and said, no big deal, we will do something else with them another time. Then, the oldest stepdaughter texted me a little while ago asking what we're doing, and told her we are spending the weekend at Disney and another event. I told her so she wouldn't be surprised when photos are posted this weekend. Now, all of a sudden, she wants to call out of work, and my other stepdaughter wants to come without her sister now. Lol. I told them, I'm sorry. I gave the boys' friends those tickets because you all didn't want to come over. I really did. So now they're angry, and a part of me doesn't feel bad for the youngest. The oldest is understandable because she actually has a good excuse, but I do not want her calling off work because she's on the verge of getting fired already for her attendance. Hubby wants to cave in and let her come, but I don't want to because I'm over her only wanting to see us when we're spending money on her. I want this to be a lesson to the youngest, and he doesn't see it that way. I gave her an opportunity to come, and she didn't want to. So, tough luck. Am I the a-hole? Edited duet. Before anyone says I'm being unfair to my step-kids, I treat my bio kids the same way. My oldest child has this fair share of missing out on events. He knows better now, lol. So when I say get in the car and let's go, don't question it, just get in. It's not a game I'm playing. Over the years, I just got tired of feeling used. The only time they want to come over is when we're doing something, or they want something. That's why I stopped telling them what we were doing. My husband is cheap and doesn't care for fun things, so I plan and pay for just about everything we do that's fun. We all have a good relationship, and they are growing older and they rather be with friends, so we are trying to give them the space to do that. But before oldest stepdaughter got a job, we would try to plan things with them, my kids included. And it just became a, can we go here instead? And complaining about everything, so that's why now if I want to do something, I don't tell them plans. I just ask them if they are coming, and if they don't, then they stay home. All of the kids are in different age groups, so I try to plan things for each child and invite the others. But that's been extremely difficult because of the complaining. Not the a-hole. You ask them to make time to celebrate holidays and your son's birthdays as a family. That wasn't important to them until they found out how you'd be celebrating. I'm glad your sons get to celebrate their special days with people who actually value their company. So 18-year-old should just risk getting fired because OP wants her to take extra time off without properly explaining? It is not mentioned how close the 18-year-old is with step-siblings. Holidays in itself can be done at another day. I mean, he knows better now and gets in the car when I tell him to. No questions asked. How on God's green earth is that any way to treat anyone? Never mind an 18-year-old with a job. Learn how to read. 18 said no, so Opie said that it was okay with her. She's already on the verge of getting fired. She should focus on her job instead. Not the a-hole. Simple thing is, the stepchildren don't want to spend time with their family unless they directly profit off of it. They had their chance to spend time with Opie and family, who made it clear they all wanted to spend time with the two stepdaughters. They didn't want to, which makes it fair to pass that opportunity on to someone else that actually wants to spend time with them. In this case, son's friends. You can't reject the cake and eat it too. Next story. Am I the a-hole for asking my neighbors to be more considerate? My neighbors are a young couple in their 30s, Annie and Bill. They've had a baby a couple months ago, and the baby just came home last month after 3 months at hospital. My wife is friendly with Annie. We can't have children, so whenever we have a neighbor with a baby, my wife makes friends with them. We have my mom also staying with us as she's no longer able to live independently. My mom has complained several times that she can hear the baby crying, especially at night. My wife says the baby has bad reflux, and they're trying to deal with it. The baby screams several times a day, and it's awful listening to the poor thing crying for so long. It does feel like they aren't dealing with the baby as quickly as they should be. The baby screamed for 10 minutes solid the other night. My wife says that the baby screams when they bathe it, as Annie has told her that the baby doesn't like being bathed. Baby is always crying and it's frustrating, especially when my mom needs peace and quiet to recover from surgery. Since the baby has come home, there is no longer any room in our street during the day as we have an on-street parking. This is making it difficult to get mom to appointments, as she can't walk to the end of the street to get her in the car. But we also can't park in the middle of the road, as it blocks the road and can take over 10 minutes to get her in the car due to mobility issues. There had always been at least one empty bay outside our house, but now it is always occupied by either someone from their families visiting or one of the healthcare professionals involved in the baby's care. I reached a breaking point this weekend. Mom had been home alone all day and she was in tears when I got home from work, while wife was away visiting friends. She said the baby had been screaming all day long. It was still crying when I came home. I went and knocked on Bill and Annie's door to ask if they could quieten the baby. I could see through the frosted glass that Annie was sat on the bottom of the stairs, not even trying to calm the baby down. When she came to the door, she apologized and said she had been trying to calm the baby down, but the new medication was making him constipated and he was straining to poo. She had Bill gone to pick up an emergency prescription to try and help. I snapped, as she clearly hadn't been trying as she was on the stairs, and told her that they need to be more considerate of others, and if she didn't quieten the baby, then I would log a noise complaint with the police. Annie was upset at this and closed the door in my face. When my wife came back, she told her what I had said. Now my wife is angry with me, as I was making life difficult for a young couple with a sick baby and is giving me the silent treatment. I feel like I may be in the wrong because of how my wife has reacted, but at the same time, the baby is always crying, and I think they need to be more considerate of their neighbors. Now for the top comments. I'm going to get hate for this, but thank God you can't have kids. Your lack of empathy and inability to sympathize are outrageous. Real babies aren't like dogs or dolls. I would hate to see how you would have treated your wife or your own child. No hate here. A few times my husband came home to both me and baby crying. OP, you're the a-hole. From the other side, I came home more than once to my wife and baby both crying. Can't imagine what it would be like to be the stay-at-home for the first couple of years. You're the a-hole. On street parking means it's game for anyone, even if it's an inconvenience to others. Filing a noise complaint because of a crying baby is ridiculous. I actually hope you do, and you come back here and tell us how big of a laughingstock you are for doing so. Expecting someone to be able to magically stop a baby from crying that has health issues is also unreasonable. That's not how babies work. Just because the baby was crying when you went over to make your ridiculous demand and wasn't being held, doesn't mean the parents aren't actively trying to soothe their child, and instead are taking a moment to catch their breath, as reasonable parents and people oftentimes do when things get stressful. Agreed. And like, if the parents could quiet and soothe their baby, does he think they wouldn't? If it's hard to listen to a crying baby through walls, imagine how much harder is it for the parents who have the added stress of worry and helplessness. OP, you're the a-hole on so many levels. Last story. Am I the a-hole for scolding my sister in front of everyone while she's going through a divorce? Myself, 29 female, and my husband, 36 male, went to visit both our parents. They live 8 hours away from us by flight, and it was expensive. But we do it because holiday means a lot, and also to see my niece Rue, 5 female. She is my world, and I love her to death. For this vacation, her mom, my sister Mila, 29 female, was missing for most of our family gatherings and was spending time with her boyfriend and doing part-time job. We have a good relationship, but was really worried that Rue doesn't get time with her mom, and angry that she just leaves her with all of us. She leaves in the morning and comes home late. Apparently, this has been going on for months. For brief context, she is separated from brother-in-law, and she wants a divorce while he wants to try. But she came home because they were not compatible, and it's messy. So, since she is a single mother, I send her allowances for her and Rue, and also for other housing expenses directly to her so she can give our parents rent and focus on Rue and have a smooth divorce. I send her a total of 10 grand and my fun money account, which she has access to and uses. She sees a therapist and I get charged for this as well. Additionally, my husband pays for divorce lawyers. We both work hard and are not rich, but we are good enough. I know it's not easy what she is going through, and I've never questioned her when there are withdrawals. But this holiday, I was so mad at how she is and who she is turning into. According to Mom, Rue is missing her mom and has withdrawn so much. She has not been giving them rent and not helping around the house and doesn't even take care of Rue. Mom works and Dad looks after Rue until Mom comes. They're also old and cannot really actively interact with her. My mom was upset at me for not helping Mila out financially as they are also struggling with 4 mouths to feed. I have never been angry as I was then. I observed her for a week, and the second week I confronted her privately. She said being a single mom is hard, and she's distressing. I called BS and told her what she has been doing with the money, but I'm glad she's working part-time. But what is she doing with Rue when she's comfortable? And even more angry that none of the money I give is going towards Rue or helping with her. She stormed out of the room and said I am ruining the holidays and being judgmental when she's going through so much. I told her how dare she say that after I give her everything, even when I don't have money left to buy new clothes for Christmas because I thought it was worth it. And if she doesn't stop and focus on Rue, then the money stops. I was so mad I forgot everyone could hear us. All our parents heard it. I felt so awful for exposing all this, but I was so mad. She called me an a-hole, and so did my brothers, saying I should have picked a different time. Now that I'm calm, I feel like an a-hole for exposing her like that. Vacation has been awkward since. Not the a-hole, but OP, stop the money now and give it to your parents instead. You gave the money to her in good faith that she would use it for her daughter, but she hasn't. You didn't ruin the holidays. She did with her greed. Not the a-hole, and for the comments of the parents, I wouldn't even give the parents money. I trust them to handle it, but I have the feeling that Mila will somehow talk them an ear off to get the money. Make something like a trust fund for Rue. She asked for the money, and I agreed until she gets back on her feet. The others we paid because she is my sister after all. But I'm so scared she might spiral if we took the money away from her, even more than she is now. The codependency is strong in this one. Therapy you need. In all seriousness, you are not responsible for her misbehavior. And in fact, you may be simply prolonging the inevitable. She needs to fall on her butt sooner rather than later, so she can pick herself up and fix the mess that is her life. It is not your job, nor responsibility, despite how much you love and care for her. She's taking advantage of everyone's good nature and their empathy to her situation that she got herself into. There's never a good time to address matters like this. You forced an opportunity, and that's absolutely okay. It's not just about her, it's also about you. You have given her too much already to continue being a heel. Congratulations for standing up to her and calling her out.